How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Fibs Reacts, and today we are going to be talking about some actresses who could possibly play Wonder Woman in the DCU. Let's go. Alright, so typically what we do here on the channel is I will find an article of some sort that already has a list provided of some actresses who could play a certain character, but I didn't really find one good article or one good list that kind of stood out to me, so I kind of created my own list, and we're going to be taking a look at 5 actresses who could possibly play Wonder Woman in the DCU. So just a few things to get out of the way before we get into the list. In talking about Wonder Woman as a character and what we're kind of looking for, obviously we want someone who is very physical, who can take on a very active and athletic kind of role. And also, if we are going based on what is in the comics, Wonder Woman is supposed to be like really tall. I mean, she's an Amazon princess, so she's gonna have the height. So we're talking in terms of like as tall as a WNBA player. Now, with that being said, obviously actresses in Hollywood who are, we're talking past 6 foot, are pretty far and few between, if existing at all. But the height and size will definitely be a key factor in casting Wonder Woman in the DCU. Last thing I wanted to say in talking about these actresses, obviously a lot of it is going to be talking about the physical. Now, with that being said, none of this is to body shame these actresses or anything of the sort. It just comes down to, would they best fit this role? It's like Timothée Chalamet would not necessarily have the build for Superman. So the same thing goes for discussing these ladies today. Anything I say that might not necessarily qualify them, in my opinion, to play Wonder Woman is not to be thought of in a negative context. It's just simply, my opinion. Now, also something I wanted to get out of the way first is discussing Gal Gadot, who was, of course, the last actress to play Wonder Woman. Now, I think overall, she was a good fit for the character. Obviously, she had her moments where her acting wasn't great, but I do think she was very, strong and very, very charming and obviously very beautiful. And I think she was a great choice for Wonder Woman. And I think definitely in terms of, the style of, Zack Snyder's DC universe. But it doesn't seem like they're going to be, trying to bring her back for this new DCU. So let's get into this list and see who could take on the role of Wonder Woman. So first off on my list here, I have Alicia Vikander. Now, I would say the role that sticks out to me the most as far as, the movies that I've seen her in, that would closely relate to Wonder Woman would be Tomb Raider. So she did take on the role of Lara Croft in the remake of Tomb Raider. Now, I think she was great in this movie, and I actually enjoyed the movie as a whole, even though I don't think it did very well. She obviously can take on, a very physical role, and, she did get into really great shape for that role. Which obviously, if you're going to be filling the shoes of someone like Angelina Jolie, then yeah, you're going to have to step up your game a bit. Now, that being said, I do think Alicia Vikander is a fine actress, and, I do think she possesses qualities that could be related to Wonder Woman. My only thing about Alicia Vikander is I do think she is pretty small. I do think she's pretty petite to play a character like Wonder Woman, who is, supposed to be, this kind of large warrior type character. Alicia Vikander is 5'6", which, by the way, average female height is 5'4". So she is taller than your average female, but I just think her size overall is just a bit too small to play Wonder Woman. Next on the list, we have Grace Curry. Now, I would say probably her most notable role to date would be in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Now, Grace Curry stands at 5'7", which obviously is pretty tall for a female. And I do think she has, the look of Wonder Woman, kind of similar to something we would see in the comics. I think she has, a great build for the character, and, she would probably take on, a lot more training for the role, which I think would obviously just make her look even more, warrior-like. Now, the only unfortunate thing is, she just She just hasn't really been in a whole lot, or at least a lot of things that have become popular as far as movies go. But from what I've seen, she seems like a fine actress, and I do think she would be a great fit for Wonder Woman. Next up on the list, we have, and I'm gonna try to say this name correctly, so hopefully I don't sound completely illiterate. We have Ariria Arjona. I probably butchered the fuck out of that. Anyway, as of late, this is the actress that we see in the Andor TV show. That's what I best know her from. Now, I think she has, a great face shape. I think she has great facial features. She has great hair. And she just kind of looks like, the Wonder Woman that we see in the comics. Now, like Grace Curry, she stands at 5'7", which again is, fairly tall for a female. In the Andor TV show and in the character that she plays, we don't really see her in a lot of, action scenes. Now, she was in the Netflix movie Hitman with Glenn Powell, which I've still yet to watch. I think it's on my watch list. Like, I need to watch that movie. So obviously, that's an action movie, and I'm sure, she takes on a more physical role in that movie. So yeah, I could definitely see her playing the role of Wonder Woman. I think she would probably be one of my top picks to play the character. I think she's great. Next on the list, it's been a pretty popular fan cast for a while now, and that is Ana de Armas. Now, I think Ana de Armas is a great actress, and I think, she's really made a name for herself over the past couple years. I think she's taken on a lot of great roles. Ana de Armas stands at 5'6". It kind of goes without saying, but she's gorgeous. And of course, she did have the role of, Ballerina, which was the John Wick spinoff. And she was also a Bond girl in No Time to Die. But with that being said, I think it does just kind of go back to kind of what I said about Alicia Vikander. I do think Ana de Armas is just, maybe a bit too small in size to play Wonder Woman. Which I hate to keep coming back to this critique, but if we are going based on, the Wonder Woman from the comics, she is, very big, especially for a female. To put into perspective, Gal Gadot is 5'10", which is definitely tall for a female. Average male height is 5'6". So Ana de Armas, while she is very beautiful, and I do think she's a great actress, I just think physically and, just her overall size, I just don't think she would be the best fit for Wonder Woman. And last on the list, which has also been a very popular Wonder Woman fan cast for a while, is Alexandra Daddario. So Alexandra Daddario stands at 5'8", which I guess makes her the tallest out of the list for today. Now, she just looks ripped right out of the comics as far as, looking like Wonder Woman. She's very physically fit. She, has a great build, very beautiful, and, her eyes, man, her eyes look into your soul. And if I'm gonna be honest, man, she was one of my first childhood crushes in the Percy Jackson movies. She was also great in the Baywatch remake, and I think she recently had a baby, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I believe she has been asked this question in particular, if she would be up for playing Wonder Woman. And basically, not a whole lot of details, but she just said she would be excited to play the role, but I don't believe anyone has approached her about it. So with that being said, I do think she would be a great fit for the character. Probably would be one of my top picks to play the character. But that completes our list today of some actresses who I think would be great as Wonder Woman in the DCU. Let me know who you think would be a great Wonder Woman in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to give the video a like and subscribe. Let me know what kind of videos you guys would like to see in the future. And as always, catch you later.